Hi everyone, I'm Iman Safari and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I want to talk about writing integration tests in .NET using in-memory EfCore and NUnit. We will cover how to test your database logic in a clean way and also how you can set up your database and tear down. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification. So far, we have implemented booking service and also we wrote some unit tests for checking our business logics. At this step, we want to implement booking repository because if you remember, we just create an interface for booking repository. So in this video, I want to continue with creating some integration test for infrastructure layer. First, we will create new project and it should be an unit test project. Change the path. Integration tests. I remove the default file. As I mentioned, we want to test booking repository, so I will create booking repository tests. And also we can follow our namespace in booking management. The first thing that we should test for now is the save method. If you remember, we have one save method, and we want to have an implementation for this method. So the first test method could be like this. Save with valid booking should save to database. But this is not important to be valid. So we can just say save booking because this layer is not responsible for validation. We have to do all validation in our business logic. So we shouldn't have any validation in our infrastructure. For orange part, we just instantiate a booking and we should reference to domain project. Checking date and checkout date. Okay. And for act, we can create new booking repository. We just want to create booking repository in new file to pass this file and save booking. We don't have any save here. As we know, the booking repository should inherit from iBooking repository. And here we don't have access to iBooking repository. I think for make it shorter, it's better if I move it in the right place. So we should create a new project here for our infrastructure, hotel booking dot infrastructure structures and also source and .NET 10. And we can move it in right place. And also we should reference to application layer. We should reference to the application layer here. And here we should implement all methods that we have. And right now we can reference to infrastructure again, and also here we have saying, and it should be yes. Is run the test, it should show exception because the save method haven't implemented yet. We have to bring our database into our test. I decided to use EfCore in memory. So first I should install it in our test project. You can search for EfCore in memories. Yeah, I will install the latest version. Once you install it, you have access to the option. And also we need to have a booking DB context or hotel booking DB context to put our database entity there. So it should be located in the infrastructure project. So I will create one folder. I can name it context and create new class hotel booking DB context. Here we should inherit from DB context, and also we need to install EfCore, the real EfCore here. And we accept this one and reference to booking. Okay. Right now we can back here and reference to hotel booking, DB context. Let's see what we have here. We created an option for DB context via DB context option builder for hotel booking DB context, and it will create one in-memory database with this name. Hotel booking test DBs are prefix, underline, a random GUID. Right now, we can create our context this way. If you remember, we have option as a parameter, our hotel booking DB context. We just have to reference it, and we can remove this one. We don't have it anymore. And our booking repository should have a reference to our DB context. So we just add this one also. And right now we should have context here and run the test thing. Let's see what happened. We still have not implemented. So for saving, we just want to use context.booking.add underline context. And also we can use context.add. We can find it. And also we want to use save change. We have saved method here. So I just decided to add and save changes at one method. So you can either have different method for add and separated method for your save changes. So I will run it again. Let's see what happens. We can use the override model builder. So we needed to add these mapping. No, just save work, but we should also assert it. For assertion, it follow the run pattern. So we can say that is not null. And yeah, I'll run again. And check all properties. Okay, so right now we have our first integration test with in-memory database. You can either use container for testing, and also you can use real database, but here we decided to use in-memory database. We want to do some refactoring. The first refactoring that I want to do, I wanted to change the signature of this method because we have IO operation here. So I want to have this save as SaveAsync, and it should return void task instead of void. So I will change the name to SaveAsync, and also add async here and use SaveAsync method. It will break some there. So here we should go in this one and ask SaveAsync, but we can do it in better way to SaveAsync. It will change all references and also task. Okay. And also here we need to add await here, and also should change this one to yes. Our test method can also return task instead of void. Yep. So let's rebuild the project. I think we should have some more errors. Run all test. I think everything is good. Yeah, that's good because we use the refactoring feature in Visual Studio and it applied everywhere. So we had really good refactoring. This is the first refactoring that I wanted to do. And also we can use find async instead of find and run the test again. Okay. The second test that I want to write, get by ID for with non-existing room should return null. So public task async task I just want to write a code to pass this one. So there is a place that I want to show you how TDD work. We just right now we have one red test, and we just want to write code to pass it. So we can say return task from result and just return null. I just want to write a code to pass our test. Yeah. So it passed, but with wrong data. Let's go for next test. The next test is when existing booking. So public async task. Yeah. Should be look like this. And we run all of them. As you can see, the previous implementation won't work for the next one. So I will go to this one and use the correct implementation. I want to use suggestion. But we can use first or default instead. First or default async or p dot like and Let's see what happened. Yeah. And now it's time for refactoring. For refactoring, as you can see, we have repeated code everywhere. So we always need to have access to booking repository, and we can use setup, and in setup we can set up our database, in-memory database. Setup method will run for each test. So for example, when this test want to run with test runner, setup run one time, and for second one again it will run again. When we use in-memory database, it doesn't have too much cost for us to create new database every time. But this is not a real new database. This is just an instantiation of a class. So we can use this kind of fixture, and also we can use one-time setup. But here, if we want to use one-time setup, we could have some intersection with our test data. So we should be more careful. So right now I decided to use fresh fixture for here. And with this code, I can get rid of this one. And also, I don't want to need to have access to context anymore. And I wanted to use my implemented method here. And also here, I can get rid of this one also and use this. And also for this one, instead of add by context, we can use our save method. So one of the advantages of this approach for using your method, you have some kind of abstraction on your method level. So in this way, if you change, for example, your database to something else, you don't need to change all tests, because if you have dependency to the context which is dependent to EfCore directly, if you decided to use something else, for example, use Azure Table Storage instead of SQL or EfCore, use Azure Table SDK, for example, you don't need to do lots of changes in your test. So your test still can stay without any change, and you just have to do some changes here. While we use fresh fixture and create new fixture for each test, teardown phase is not does not make sense. But here I want to have teardown. What happened in teardown? In teardown, we remove our fixture. So here we have database. We want to remove the database. I think it doesn't make sense right now, but we can use teardown hook here, and it makes sense when you want to use a real database. So we should have access to context and here, and let's see. Okay. And also we should dispose our context. Yeah. But given you have, for example, one real database. For example, here you can see data in your setup, and in teardown that will run after each test, you can delete the data from your database. So I think it could be a good example if I can show you. Let's debug this test and see the life cycle. First, it should come here in setup, and after that, it should run the test, and after test, it will tear down. Okay. Given we want to use just one database, I just want to show you the hook. It doesn't make sense now. I just want to show you how we can use the other hook. So here I want to use one time setup, one time setup, I know it doesn't make sense. I just want to show you what happened in our life cycle. And also I will add one time teardown, and in one time teardown we can dispose and also delete the database. Okay. So let's see what happened. I put breakpoint in all test methods and also here and here. The thing that we expect here is that for the first test, we should come here for one time because this is a one time hook. And after each test, it should remove all booking that we have in our context and run another test and come here and run another test and come here. And after last test, it should delete all database and dispose. And I think we should save our changes here. Let's see what happens. I will debug all tests. So it came here and the first test, and as you can see, we have one booking and we will delete it. And this is the second test. We don't have any booking here. And this is the last test. we end up in one-time teardown. Right now, it's the time for developing is runbooked. It could have lots of um, implementation and lots of edge cases, but for now, I just want to focus on two scenario. One for when we don't have any booking in that period, and another one when we have. You can find the code in the GitHub repository that I will put the URL in the description of this video. Okay. The first thing that I want to check is this scenario. As we have done till now, we just want to check if is book is false or not. And we will run our test. And after running, you can see we have an error. But how we can pass this test with fewer changes? As we said before, in TDD, we just change the code to pass the test. We shouldn't write more code when we don't have any test scenario for it. The next test that I want to write is this. Is room booked when a room is booked for same date should return true. Okay, so let's see what we have here. We have this is good and save and is room booked. So we create a booking, and after that we call is room booked with check-in and check-out, with same check-in and check-out. So it should return true. So it means this room is already booked for this time period. Okay. Let's change this method output to task, and here we can change this one like this. But I don't want to make this one in at this step to async. After that, I will change it to async as a refactoring part. So let's run all tests and see what happened. Yeah. As we expected, this test is red. So right now we should go into this. And the thing that we have to check is that return context booking, any room ID, check-in date, but for now, we just can check if check-in date is equal to check-in. Checkout date is equal to checkout. You might have more scenario, but I don't want to cover these scenarios. Okay, this test also is green for now. Right now, it's time for refactoring. So I will change the name of this method to isBookAsync and change the signature to task. And here we can use any async. And also here we should use await. And for here also, we should use await. And let's run all tests. Okay, we have builder. We should also change output type for interface and run our integration test. Again, we have. Okay, so here we also should await this response. And also for this, and this method should return task, booking, and async. This is the good thing about TDD. You can refactor with high confidence because you know if you break something, it will show you what happened. So this is wrong. We should delete this one. It was generated by Visual Studio. And for this one, we should use return async, and also we have to refactor all these test methods. And also for this one, thanks to Copilot, and also adding an await for here. Here we just have to set a delegate, and for delegate, we should use async await. And also for this. And right now, we can run all tests again. And all tests pass. So right now we have integration test. Until now, we have developed booking service, and we wrote some unit tests for it. And also, we developed booking repository and write some integration tests to check the interaction between booking repository and database.